Hey guys, welcome back to Clownfish TV. This is Kneon. I am here with Geeky Sparkles.
Hello.
And it's time for another daily dose of what? Dismal Hollywood? I don't know.
Yeah,
Hellish
another day, another, load of crap.
We're going to talk about this again. We're going to talk about the strikes. We're going to talk about where things are at currently. Now, we did do a video yesterday. I think it was yesterday. I can't even tell what day we're on. Where they came out and said that, hey, if they don't get this thing put to bed within the next week, it's going to be until 2024.
Rumored. Yeah, and they're talking that they think there's promising and they might have a deal today. Who knows? They think they're going back to negotiation. They have cautious optimism. My next thing is if they already had it pretty much set and the only hold up was the stupid dollar levy tax thing. Yeah. Sorry, it's a tax. If they didn't have this on there, that it would have already been done by now. But they threw this in the last minute. So basically, what the holdup is still is they're trying to figure out what to do about them wanting money for the union that doesn't really, impact the people that are in the union.
Right. But now the interesting thing here is they're saying that they'd rather stay on strike than cave to a bad deal.
There wasn't a bad deal. We already know what the deal was mostly, and it was a lot of improvement.
Yeah, so you'll have to go back and look, and you can find the information out there. I don't know if it'll come up in this article or not, but they actually, the studios gave them a pretty decent deal. They actually did include protections for workers that weren't there before, like motion capture artists. There were some AI things in there.
Stunt coordinators are getting residuals.
Huge
uptick in insurance and benefits. And
pay increases, all that. The only thing they didn't do was give them they wanted the performance, or I'm sorry, they wanted residuals, but they wanted the same deal, I guess, that the writers had, where everybody got like a performance-based something, and they were kind of like, no, we're not gonna do that.
Well, so they wanted the dollar levy.
The dollar levy.
I guess there was something else about AI that they wanted more say over to make sure they couldn't use your likeness without permission, which
I agree with that.
I agree with them on that one. I do agree with them 100% with that.
But there might be some actors that are like, no, I'll sell my likeness.
Well, I think that's your choice. But, if you don't want to do that, then I'm 100% behind you. They shouldn't be allowed to use your likeness or change what you say or whatever without your permission. I agree with that.
They will make a Harrison Ford adjacent digital actor
to play like Han Solo and Indiana Jones again.
Yeah. Yep. It would be like, oh, this is the character of Indiana Jones. This isn't actually Harrison Ford.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We'll put the scar on the other side of its face.
It's 20% different.
It's 20% different. Let's talk about this.
Yes.
Before we get into it any further, please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants. Guys, get a woohoo if you do.
Woohoo.
So yeah, they're meeting again Friday. I guess they pushed it back. And look, if they don't get this thing done, it's not looking too good for this year. And we're going to talk about how the below the line workers are affected. We're seeing a lot of them in the comments. We're seeing them in our comments. We're seeing them in comment sections on a lot of these trade magazines that they're like, hey, we didn't ask for this. No. We're getting caught up in this. We don't get paid as much as most of you guys do. And you're just like, you're basically playing with our lives too, the longer you hold out. But according to SAG-AFTRA, they're ready to just stay as long as it takes on strike.
About these 3,600 members. When there's 160,000 members, something like that.
There's a bunch, yeah.
This fraction of members signed a thing saying, "Well, we'll do this all day, all year."
I can do this all day.
Yeah, they're not speaking for everyone though.
And these are people that probably have enough money in the bank to get by.
It is. Julia Louis-Dreyfus, John Hamm, Maya Hawke, Marissa Tomei, John Leguizamo, Bryan Cranston.
Yeah, I mean, just Dreyfus herself, geez, she gets Seinfeld residuals forever.
Maya Hawke's parents are already wealthy and rich.
Marissa Tomei, Bryan Cranston. I mean, come on. These guys are making good money. John Leguizamo, he just complains
except
about the
for him,
yeah. But maybe they could ask.
He's mad about the Mario movie.
Before we get into that, here's the doll apparently that Fran Drescher's talking to get
the doll that she brings with her when she does Buddhist inspirational quotes as negotiation tactics.
I like Fran Drescher. I do, but I don't think she's the right person to be in charge.
I like the idea of positivity. I do. I just don't think
it only gets you so far.
The problem is, when you're going up against the studios, who you're calling the big bad wolf, going in there and just chanting positivity messages and saying that's a strategy probably isn't the way to handle it. But that's just me.
All right, so the letter expresses support for the SAG-AFTRA negotiating committee and says that it speaks for the majority of the guild who are still standing in solidarity, ready to strike as long as it takes to endure whatever we must in order to win a deal that's worthy of our collective sacrifice.
But what's not fair is what's worthy of our collective sacrifice when most of the ones that are, probably signing this are the ones who are the better off people.
Yes.
And they're not the under the line or below the line workers.
Yeah, so once again, I mean, I hate to be that guy, but we have a bunch of out-of-touch Hollywood celebrities speaking on behalf of a bunch of people who are in a situation that they asked to be in.
Well, even the ones that are like, that's a small, tiny percentage of the vast majority of people who are SAG-AFTRA members. Yeah. So, and it sounds like a lot of them seem to be the ones that are okay to hold on longer. You know, our collective sacrifice. A lot of you aren't sacrificing that much. Let's be honest. A lot of you are, but some of them aren't.
I didn't do my one movie this year that I was going to do.
That's okay. I'll just go cry into my millions.
Yeah, I'll go cry into my millions.
And my other businesses.
We have not come all this way to cave now, the letter states. We have not gone without work, without pay, and walked picket lines for months just to give up on everything we've been fighting for.
You're right. You haven't gone without work. And probably some of these actors that signed this paperwork have deals to go work on other projects that were outside the AMTIP studio and the Struck studios. Because what were they calling those? There's special, waivers they got to go work on other projects. And there's a list a mile long.
Exceptions.
How many people signed this agreement? I want to know how people that signed this agreement are working on other projects.
I'm sure. We cannot and will not accept a contract that fails to address the vital and existential problems we all need fixed. This is so given the state of the world right now, given the state of the economy, given the state of real people's lives, it just seems so petty.
It does.
Doesn't it? Just we've given up so much. I'm like, oh, okay, so you gave up another multi-million-dollar.
Well, no, I feel bad. They gave up so much. And I understand that a lot of people aren't the A-listers, and they gave up so much. A lot of them kept working, and then a lot of people that are below the line who have no say in it are getting drugged in there. And I'm sorry, what you were offered was true. You got a pretty good deal already. What the holdup apparently is supposed to be is this $1 levy, because the union wanted more money.
This is interesting, though. They're talking about the A-listers, right? They say the letter alludes to saying that there were some people that weren't happy with it. They said in any union, there will always be a minority.
It's not the minority at this point, I don't think.
Who are not willing to make temporary sacrifices for the greater good.
But the people that are signing it, they're bringing up our A-listers who have a shit ton of money. They're not making much sacrifice either.
Yeah. These were we're not talking washed up celebrities. They had George Clooney, Ryan Reynolds, and Tyler Perry. And Tyler Perry wouldn't even have she wanted to do a group shot, and he's like, no, I just want to talk.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, I just want to talk business. What the hell is going on?
I guess they're the minority who were not willing to make temporary sacrifices.
I can almost guarantee you there are a lot of people who are not saying anything because they don't want to get smacked down, but just judging by the tone of some of the celebrities that do the con circuit. They're not happy that they go to these cons, people pay to see them, and they are not allowed to talk about anything they've ever worked on ever.
Well, the step too far for these people was a Halloween costume.
The Halloween costume.
I'm like, how touch are you? But the people, again, back to George Clooney and the A-listers that were trying to talk to the studios and get the talks back in place, they also were willing to take caps off of that they couldn't do it, and she said they couldn't do it legally, but they were willing to give a whole bunch of their own money over 3 years for everyone else. But there's a minority of people who don't want to see change. I'm like, no, they were actually offering to give you guys all the money to help you.
So I know that Melissa Gilbert, not happy with Fran Drescher.
Well, the Halloween costume thing was just ridiculous.
Was stupid.
So it's telling influencers they can't talk about stuff or they can never join the union.
Yeah.
Threat tactics. For someone who's going on with a little heart and saying Buddhist, affirmative Buddhist shit, they sure as hell want to, control everyone. I play nice, but, I roll with an iron fist. You wear this Halloween costume or you're out of the union. You can't, put it on social media. We're watching you. You can't be an influencer and talk about studios or movies that are premiering, or we're never going to be allowed to join the union. And we have a list. I'm like, what the hell? But look at me with my little heart toy.
Yes.
I'm so quirky.
So let's talk about the everyday people that are being affected by SAG-AFTRA is willing to stay on strike as long as it takes, right? But now we've got the below the line workers being like, yeah, we're losing our houses.
They don't care. The powerful people who signed the 3,600 people, they'll do this as long as it takes.
Yeah.
Now, I think these guys, if I'm not, some of these IATSE groups are up for renewal next year, I believe.
Yeah.
So if they go on strike, does all the actors and stuff have to stop working too?
They
better.
You better.
The writers and actors better stop working too. And if they lose stuff again, oh well.
So they are trying to get the governor to, to increase unemployment benefits. Because I think in this case, if you are affected by another group's strike and you yourself did not choose to strike, I think you should get unemployment.
Or something, yeah.
Or something.
Because you're not the one. But I'm sorry, if you chose to strike, you're just trying to drag it out or whatever, and you're, like this is getting ridiculous. You shouldn't be getting unemployment. And Gavin Newsom didn't sign it when they tried to put it through last time.
I think he was concerned that
it'd be misused and California doesn't make money.
Yeah. That was it.
A bad decisions he made prior?
Pretty much. Like California's broke right now. California is like, it's not business friendly because apparently you can open up shop in California. They can rob you blind and you can't do anything.
It's one of the top economies in the world.
San Francisco's doing great. San Francisco's doing fantastic.
It's always these businesses are leaving the state in droves, but it's one of the top global economies, guys.
Yeah. So, I mean, this is not good. They said that there's a petition of nearly 25,000 signatures calling for raised unemployment benefits for workers impacted by the strike, sent to Newsom. Currently, it's $450 a week for 26 weeks.
That's not.
In California, $450 a week is not going to get you anything.
No.
Like, it is bad. Here. You hear about the writers and the actors, but not the crew that haven't been working for 5 to 6 months.
Well, we have done our best, Joshua, to make sure people knew about it.
I've been on unemployment because I didn't know how long this would last. If I knew what I knew now, I would have found a job. I think a lot of these people they're probably like, why don't you go get a job? And there are some actors out there like bussing tables or whatever, but they're probably like, well, we could be called back to work at any point in time. Mm-hmm. And they probably thought it was going to be over pretty quick, right? But now they're talking it might be next year. Asked about return to negotiations, this person, Joshua Bryan, who's a member of IATSE, stressed he's hopeful but not optimistic. How many times have they talked and walked away?
Right, because they're not taking anybody else into consideration. Yeah. None of these groups are. They're only looking at what they want.
And that's on both sides of the table.
I would agree 100%. The studios too.
Yeah.
Studios are doing the same thing.
Basically, I mean, from their point of view, nobody gives a shit about them. Now
they're going to want them there to do all the heavy lifting because, quite frankly, we hear the actors and writers. Without us, there wouldn't be movies or shows. Without these people, there wouldn't be movies and shows either. And some of them are more specialized than your ass. So I pretend to be somebody else and get paid a lot of money. These guys know how to actually make you look good and do all the work, the technical stuff that you can't do. Go ahead and get your eyelash extensions done.
You're basically just an asset in a piece of raw footage, raw film that these people take and turn into a movie.
Let's let these actors and writers just go raw stuff. Just put it out and see what happens.
Well, this is why they fail on YouTube. They try to do YouTube, and it's like, well, you can't do it without a crew of like 300 freaking people making you look good.
Right, but but it's all about you. You're the one. You guys are the big people, the important people, the writers and no. There would be no industry if these people weren't holding you up. You wouldn't have someone to feed you if these people weren't bringing the food. If they weren't making you look good with makeup and wardrobe and everything else, and make the lighting and the camera operator, all of it. There's a hell of a lot more of them that are making it go than there are of you. You basically pretend to be somebody else and get paid for it.
Yeah. Look at the credits on any movie or TV show. Compare the number of stars to the number of people that actually worked on that production.
Oh, yeah, right? Exactly.
And I mean, the list goes on and on and on and on. There might be 10 or 20 people in the movie and then some extras and then like hundreds of names that actually made it happen.
That get it done. But yes, it's all about you. And the industry would be lost without you.
And I think that's what pissed me off so much about the Drew Barrymore situation with her show. For those of you who don't know, that she basically got called out for wanting to go back to work.
She wasn't violating any terms. They made sure first.
She did it because she wanted to keep her workers working. And I honest to God, I'd probably do the same thing. I would too, because
I'm sure they're coming to her and they're being like, please help, because I don't know what we're going to do. And then you're hearing this and it's going to break your heart. And it's like, and I don't think anybody can help as much as they want to. And it's like, and she tried and then, oh my God.
So here's the unexpected side effect of this. These people, they have a lot of control over productions. Really, they do, I think, because they're the ones who actually make it go, make you look good, whatever. You don't want to piss them off, just like you don't want to piss off a restaurant worker who handles your food because they might spit in your food. You don't want to piss off the people that make you look good because maybe they won't make you look so good next time.
Well, when their contract's up and it's renegotiated, they better get everything they want. And if it takes them months to get it, then the actors and writers need to sit down and support them.
Yeah.
It's bullshit.
They said unemployment in the entertainment industry has dropped by 45,000 since May. So asked about the possibility of honoring a potential IATSE picket line, SAG-AFTRA member Karis Campbell said solidarity is the promise and that anything less than that would be
indecent. Agreed.
Everyone's making a sacrifice. Will we have an appetite for that? Probably not, but we have to fight for what's right.
You better.
You better. They expect everybody else to,
Here, Adam Cuthbert, the member of Directors Guild America, underscored, we would support IATSE and whatever they do. They're the skeleton of the body that is Hollywood. Yes. There's no way you turn without them. Yeah, I think these writers, not all. Some of these writers and some of these actors are so up their own asses and think about in their importance. They forget about the fact that you're just writing a story that wouldn't be made if people couldn't make it. You're just, you could tell stories the cows come home, but just be a book. You're, out there pretending to be somebody else, getting all dolled up to play a character. And some of you really aren't that good, honestly. You're just pretty. But they make you look even better. And without them, you wouldn't even have that opportunity. And I'm sorry, a lot of you are overpaid vastly for being pretty. I'm sorry.
That is true.
Writers even deserve more money than what you guys get, frankly.
So we'll see what happens today. Maybe they'll get this thing put to bed. But I'm sorry if I lost my house over this because especially this levy bullshit and the writer room bullshit, I would have been like.
Well, and if the thing's true that if it doesn't get resolved soon, it's just not going to do anything for the rest of the year.
Yeah.
Holidays are coming. My heart breaks for these families. How are you going to have Christmas, Thanksgiving, Hanukkah, whatever you celebrate? If you and what are you going to do?
Fran can give them all a plushie for the holidays.
And some inspirational Buddhist quotes.
There you go, Fran.
But you better not put any pictures of buying your kids anything from Struck Studios for Christmas.
I know, right?
Because if you do, they're watching.
They're watching. Always watching. We're going to wrap it up.
Yes.
Please subscribe for more pop culture news, views, and rants, guys. We'll talk later.
Bye.